Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele, and we are here to check into our tarot predictions of the first three boots and this, beginning season of Survivor 47.
Yes, we are officially in the thick of Survivor 47, so we gotta look at our preseason thoughts. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Chantel, let's look. Let's look at what we said.
What did we say? What did we
Well,
say?
let's always just remember we know nothing preseason. We dive right in. Um, we we went through the men first, then the women, and we pulled cards for the tribes, and we definitely got the sense that it wasn't going to be, one tribe wins everything and one tribe loses everything. We definitely saw that coming, which is accurate.
We were kind of thinking that yellow would be stronger. Because I remember when I was drafting, I was being like, okay, I should take someone from the yellow tribe just because we think that they might win a little bit more, which we don't know if that still could be the case, because at this point, all three tribes have gone to tribal council. So we're kind of on an even playing field here in terms of, how well each tribe is doing. We thought that the red tribe was not going to be as successful potentially maybe as the other two, and blue was kind of close to red, which could be the case. I'm not sure with how the red tribe is going to fare moving forward. They might implode, and so that could be a prediction that is still coming true.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point to make, as like we're only 3 episodes in, can't get a full sense, but it is exciting as a viewer that we don't have one tribe winning it all, one
I
tribe
love that.
completely wiped out, right? Especially
But
if
I
we've got
mean,
this
but
three
it might
tribe
happen to
thing.
red, right? It just might happen to red.
Yeah, I mean we definitely, so yellow had the Four of Wands, Strength, and King of Wands. That did give us the sense that they were going to be a bit stronger than,
What
maybe
was the first card? Four of swords? Or
Wands.
wands. Oh yeah, that is a pretty good grouping.
So I would say I was surprised that they were the first tribe to go to tribal,
But now they're looking strong, right? Because
but
haven't they
now they're
been
not bad.
winning? Like, even especially in the last episode, I can remember for sure that they won the tarp and all the stuff. Like, they won first. They were the most winningest of the two winners. So
Yeah. Yep. So ish. And yeah, we thought red was going to be a bit of a hot mess, but you know what? Honestly, they are kind of a hot mess, even though they've won a
kinda.
little bit. So I'm still rolling with that. Yeah.
Well, just thinking about how things might unfold
Yeah.
now, especially if the next boot is who it looks like it's going to be without any other idols or advantages coming into play. That's a lot of their strength that might be leaving. And I just don't, if there's a lot of swimming challenges, I just don't know if they will be able to keep up necessarily moving forward. So I am interested in seeing how Red does.
Yes, agreed. So they had the Four of Wands, Justice, and Ace of Pentacles on the red for the red tribe as a whole. Interesting that we had two
Four
Four
of
of
Wands.
Wands there. So that's a little bit of not winning, right? That's a little bit of a break.
Right, but it's also can be considered celebration. So
Absolutely,
maybe
it's a positive.
it's maybe well, what can you just remind me what we have for the blue tribe?
Okay, yeah. So blue is Two of Swords, Six of Swords, King of Wands.
So maybe it's the King of Wands that's like kind of pulling the strength for those two tribes that might do better moving forward, maybe. But the Four of Wands, maybe that's them going to tribal.
I mean, a Two of Swords and a Six of Swords.
Six of Swords is a journey moving
Yeah,
from
that
one
feels
place
like
to
they're
another.
gonna have to get that if they move. If a tribe moves, Six of Swords is a moving as a journey. Is that like them splitting apart or?
Oh wait, sorry. Let me rephrase that. The Four of
Yeah.
Wands, I think, is that maybe it could be the time when those two, yellow and red, were both safe, and blue went to tribal. Maybe last episode, so maybe that's where they had some similarities in their tribal run.
Mm-hmm.
Trying
Okay.
to be a hot mess.
We don't hate that. We don't hate that.
um,
Yeah.
I
100%. I agree. I didn't pull Rome's images, but we will definitely have to talk about Rome because he is going to be not just, I mean, he's going to be a big character, but he's going to be a part of the storyline. Like,
did we still
that's,
pull cards even though he was the audience member?
oh, yeah,
Okay.
we did. Yeah. So we'll look at Rome as well. But let's start with John. He was our first boot. Now, we did say we didn't think he was here for a long time. He was here for a good time, but not a long time.
I feel like if I remember correctly, his cards were like either you go really quickly or maybe you would make it to the end. But we were like, but he's likely going to go quickly. I think that's what we end up saying. Oh, you put their cards here.
Yes. So we pulled the Moon, Justice, and the High Priestess for him, which are pretty decent cards. But yeah, we had a sense that like it was maybe a strong storyline, but not winning. Yeah, we didn't think he was gonna last.
We did say that he was going to be a great speaker, orator
Sure.
at tribal council with the justice cards. With the moon, things being a little bit hidden, a little bit mysterious. And it seems like he might have been a little bit duped because Andy voted for John, and John thought that, from what we saw anyways, that they were going to vote for Annika. So there was a little bit of deception there, which could be the moon card.
Yeah.
And the high priestess, how would we pull that one in?
I think I thought originally that the High Priestess turned out, I mean, not originally, when I saw the episode, the High Priestess turned out to be one of the ladies on the tribe. Because he got duped by a few people. And I was thinking, now it's hard to remember that first episode, but was it Annika or was it Rachel, right?
I think it was
Because
Rachel. Okay, I can't remember actually properly.
Well, but like Rachel was the one who was like kind of making decisions. So maybe she's the high priestess, as in she's the one who steered it that way. But also Annika was the potential other vote. So did she end up being the high priestess? But now looking back, I feel like one of them was the high priestess. The moon is his delusions that he was going to come in as like the man and everyone was going to bow down to him, and he just got really confused when he actually had to play the game. That was my interpretation.
And I feel like it's pretty accurate. The cards are strong. Major Arcana, I usually when I see them, I'm like, okay, this is someone that's going to make a big impact. Like, these are life's major events, major changes. 3 of them, like, this is wild. But in this combination, in this game, it ended up being that it was like, go big and go home. Like, basically.
And I think he's a known person, right? So like a lot of talk about him from people who don't even watch Survivor, right? Or maybe just tuned in for him. So I think that sort of moves us into the major arcana realm as well, because he is a major player.
I would have liked to
Maybe.
see him play a little bit longer because I love the way that his mind works in terms of creating just sound bites. So, like, the things that he said and how he just put together some of his arguments and rebuttal. Like, he's just great at speaking and just forming sentences. So I wanted to hear him more. And so I am sad that we don't get to hear him at like a final tribal or at more tribal councils anyways, because I was just fascinated by how his mind works in putting together sentences.
I agree that, or I should say, I had high expectations for him speaking at Tribal. So it would have been fun to see. But I got to say, when I spoke to him in his exit interview, he couldn't even put his sentences together to
Oh,
explain to me his story or like his strategy. It was
interesting.
very, yeah. I was just like, so what was your game? Because we had well, first off, we had a special type of interview with him because I guess he's special. He can make things happen differently. And so instead of getting my usual 15 minutes with him, I had to share. So I only got to ask him 2 questions. So I got right to the point of like, what was your plan here? And he was like, what do you mean? Well, there's just things you don't see. And I was like, wait, you can't even tell me what your plan
Oh.
was?
So he potentially can't articulate his own story arc, but he can put together nice words and phrases about other things.
Well, I think it's indicative that he just didn't have a strategy, right? I think he went in for some fun story, fun experience. Hey, let me go on Survivor. But I don't think he thought about playing the game. So in that respect, I don't care that he went out early. If
No,
you
that's
can't,
totally fine. I want people that are at least familiar with the game enough to have intentions and goals on how you want to play, and
right?
are willing to pivot and shift things if things are not going your way. And so that's probably why he just went, I'm just gonna go guns blazing. Like he wasn't actually planning on doing something.
Right.
He was just kind of hoping that something would be different, I guess, or go out with a bang so that he gets some fanfare, I guess. I don't know. That is kind of disappointing.
Oh, yeah, I was caught off guard, but So anyway, we had a fun, big, famous podcaster come on this season. The moon, delusions, boom, he's out. He's gone. First place. Or first
He
place,
just didn't realize that he needed a gameplay. I just thought him being there was enough.
Exactly. I think so. And I think that is the moon, right? He came in thinking one thing and something else happened.
The moon mixed with his Leo.
Hello, Leo. All right, our second boot was TK.
Ooh, this one actually, now that I'm looking at the cards, wow. Like they're really him.
We read
it wrong though.
We read it wrong, yeah, because he got the 6 of Wands, the Star, and the Page of Wands. But looking at his his Astro, Libra, Sag, like we had positive feelings about him. The Star, you were like, yes, give me the Star.
But so what it seems like has happened is, so the 6 of Wands is usually like putting someone on a pedestal and
getting praise,
and all that stuff. And also the Star is also the light at the end of the tunnel. Like he wanted to be the savior. He thought that he was revered by everyone and they would never do it. And so it was kind of like the pride before the fall, because he really was the page. He was didn't really know what was going on. He was really kind of a little more immature and not really knowing what his position in the tribe was. He just had this illusions of grandeur. So interesting.
It is really interesting because it still does fit the 6 of Wands and the Star.
100%.
It just, instead of him getting the praise and being put up as the Star, he just thought he should get the praise and that he is the Star. That was his perspective, and it did him in, and it ended up he was just the Page of Wands.
And the page there is like, it's a novice, right? It's someone that's supposed to be kind of learning. It's the beginning, and he never wanted to take that position of like being not being on the pedestal. Like he's never was looking at it from anybody else's perspective. He didn't really have any sort of self-reflection or any of that. And so he is definitely the Page of Wands with the belief that he's the 6 of Wands and the Star.
Yeah.
And it got him.
It did. It got him quick. I mean, it's kind of fun
like
to see.
I did allow these cards to influence my picks, and now like I'm like, oh my goodness, wish I had read them more accurately.
Right?
I'll know for next time.
Well, we never know. What do you think his ascendant is?
Rising.
So we know his sun is Libra and his moon is Sag, and we did talk about how that is a dangerous combination for what flies out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. Sag, really honest and blunt. Libras have a hard time not saying things. So that combination, and we did see that. Like he just said, absolutely what he thought, and you would be like, ooh, maybe don't say it all.
I'm wondering maybe because he kind of digs his heels in. Maybe he's a
Mm-hmm.
Taurus
Oh.
rising. He's kind of stubborn. That's my first thought, but I can be swayed in other
I'm
ways.
gonna take you on the fixed energy, but I'm gonna move it to fire, and I think he's a Leo rising.
I mean, he does like to be in the spotlight. He
Yeah.
has that big head of hair, or unique hair, which is tends to be a Leo attribute.
I was gonna say Aries at
I
first,
can see Aries.
just with that like full steam ahead me energy. But if we're thinking maybe fixed, then I'd move to Leo.
I could definitely see him being a Leo rising. Do we need more information, or are we just
We don't.
speculating?
We're just speculating. But I mean, I would lean towards fire, though, right? So competitive
He's so competitive.
and, pretty extroverted and focused on himself. That's us. That's fire.
The Leo is kind of like the teenager of the fire signs, and he does have a teenager vibe with how he wants to be in the spotlight. It's not like a mature so I've always learned that Aries is kind of the baby fire sign, and so it's kind of like, ooh, I got all this power, I'm doing what I want,
Yeah.
I'm an Aries. And then the teenager is like, look at me, I'm so cool. So I could see him having a Leo vibe, but then obviously the wise old Sag. You're more wise with your fireness.
Thank you. I'll take it. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting downfall there for TK for
It's
sure.
actually shocking, to be
Yeah.
honest. Um, yeah, I'm very surprised by him exiting so quickly, because I would have thought that his strength would have been able to pull him through at least the first one. But man, his cards and his astrological makeup says nope. Mm-mm.
I will say that one of the predictions, Kendra thought that maybe Tiana would pair up with TK because it was a Sag Leo combo, and that did partially work
Kind of, and
for a
then
minute.
well, until she realized that she couldn't get along with him.
Yeah,
Well, and she's a Sagittarius, correct?
yeah,
And so I wonder if she was like his Sagittarius moon. She's just like, nope, I can't. Too close to home here. Like
yeah.
maybe.
Oh, yeah. Like a Sag would be drawn, especially if he's got more fire in him. Like, yes. But then,
Wait, no,
like,
they're both Sag suns. Sorry, am I? And
no, no,
she's
no.
a Libra moon. Okay,
He's
I'm just
he's a Libra
Libra
sun.
sun. Got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sad news, Asia.
Whew. Well, I was just begging that these cards
Yep.
were better,
Yep.
but we were fighting. Oh, you have Three of Cups twice.
Yes,
Oh
because
yeah, we
I
did.
pulled it and you pulled
Oh my
it.
god, so it was third though. So we did say like final three or out third.
Yeah. Yeah, I said after you had a glowing reading here, I was like, I feel like this is bias.
It was biased, and
Yeah.
I was heavily admitting that I was
Yes.
reading these cards with like hope in my eyes.
Yes.
But that Eight of Cups is her walking away from her dream. We were hoping, or I was hoping, that it was just walking away from a certain situation, but that she was able to trek through and get to the end and be in that final three, because I have pulled those two cards, like 2 3 of Cups, and I've had final threes for both of them. So I was just hoping.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, we were saying Three of Cups is very celebrated, loved, and she is, right? She's been celebrated since we saw the preview last finale, that she was on it. We have been celebrating and so excited for her. So yes, there was tons of cups, tons of emotions, tons of celebration for her. But yeah, unfortunately, the Eight of Cups, yeah, it's overwhelm. It's too much.
Like that could even be her going on that first journey,
Yeah.
walking away from the relationships made at camp, And it seems like they're insignificant. And from exit interviews, she was mentioning that both Teeny and Saul were assuring her that, she kind of has a space when she comes back.
Right.
But I do think that that journey just didn't allow her just a little bit more time that she might have needed just to have some connections to be stronger than Rome did, to be honest.
Well, and from when I spoke with her, she really emphasized the three duos, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
her and Saul, Rome and Genevieve, Keyshawn and Teeny. And, Rome just had it out for her from the get-go, or just wasn't interested in her. I don't know if we fully know why, but like all of that falls into this sort of Eight of Cups. It falls into cups. Like it all feels very personal, emotional. You connected with these people, but you didn't connect with these people. It was very much that
And
energy on her
also,
tribe.
astrologically, it kind of shook out in the way that made sense because Asia is an Aries, and I believe Saul was a Sag, correct? He was an fire, and Rome is a Pisces. Oh, he's Gemini. I mean, that also works really well, right?
Yeah, with her rising Libra for sure.
And then air and fire like
Mm-hmm.
are buds. But then then Rome is a Pisces. I didn't understand necessarily with Genevieve,
He's not a
because she's a
Pisces.
Gemini. Oh, he's a Libra.
Yeah.
I've been thinking Rome was a Pisces. I was comparing him in my head to Q. I'm like, is that the Pisces energy? Oh my goodness, this changes my thought for sure. But I'm thinking that maybe his moon might be actually Virgo, for the fact that he
Oh,
connected well with Teeny, because Teeny is a Virgo. And what was Keyshawn? Cancer? I think it was Cancer.
yeah.
Oh, so that's interesting that he doesn't get along with Saul, though, because Aaron Air. But it could be. Man,
I don't know. I am really leaning towards a Leo moon.
I can see both that as well with how he's very, very. The only reason why I'm saying Virgo is remember when we're doing Big Brother Canada and Kyle's HOH week, that Virgo energy, and sometimes we've been seeing Virgo energy to be a little bit all over the place and a little bit out there, but I definitely can see the Leo energy as well. Like both of them,
Yeah,
I
you're
can make
right.
sense of both of them.
Absolutely. I wish we knew his ascendant because then that would make it easier to figure out. But he's very focused on how great he is.
That's true. So
So
Survivor Rome, that's very Leo.
yeah, Leo Moon. I don't know. Rome is an interesting one.
I
But
can't
here's
believe I
my
thought he was a Pisces.
well, you're
Wow.
yeah. I think you're picking up on the Scorpio,
Yeah.
Mar, Mars and Mercury there. A Scorpio, Mars, and Mercury says, "Don't come for me." And
Yeah.
so, did Asia come for him? Like, did something happen that maybe the rest of us don't know? Like, what is the personal attack, or not attack, but like, what's the personal thing he has against Asia?
I think that he may be intimidated by any other alphas or anybody that are strong, in being able to command a group or gather support, because we went on the journey that he was immediately like, oh, I'm so glad that TK was there, he looked arrogant or whatever, and I was like, so maybe it's like the fire energy he doesn't like to see in other people, because maybe or just like that confidence, because Asia doesn't come across as meek, somebody that you can just like run over. She definitely spoke her mind, being like, what did she call him? Looking Mr. Idol or Mr. I can't remember. She called him out on
Yeah,
searching for the idol, and so I think the fact that she wasn't like she was seeing him for who he was,
yeah,
and what he
yeah,
was doing, and wasn't really to just like hide and be like anything you say, Rome. Maybe that's something that threatened him. And everybody else is
yeah.
just like a yes man to him, right? And Saul is not. And so
Right.
Saul is an antagonist for him. I think he assumed that TK would be an antagonist for him, so he doesn't want TK in the game. So
Yeah. And what is Teeny? Because he's so drawn to Teeny.
maybe it's the
Teeny's a
Mercury.
Virgo,
Mm-hmm.
Leo moon.
Mm.
I thought I knew Teeny's rising. Maybe I forgot to ask. Um, Interesting.
So maybe
Libra
I'm
Virgo
thinking
connection.
that
Interesting.
Teeny felt really bad about outing his idol immediately to Kashan. And I
Yeah.
think that that is actually probably one of the reasons why she was able to turn on Asia,
Yeah.
because I think it was the guilt factor in there. And so being like, oh my God, you share this information with me, then I'm going to take out your closest ally. Like, I think she wanted to kind of redeem herself for that a little bit.
I wondered if Rome recognized Asia as a
Mm,
podcaster and got jealous before they even stepped on the
it's
same
possible.
tribe together and just couldn't have, I don't think he doesn't call himself a podcaster, but it's not a far, his esports, like it's in the same
Well, and he says that
internet
he
world.
believes that is going to be the guest on the On Fire podcast. Like he's going to be the
Oh,
co-host of the
he's
season,
hoping. Yeah. So
right?
he had
So
to take her out. If he knew who she was, he'd have to take her out to get that like leg up.
he
I don't know. I don't
definitely
know.
I don't know when the confessional was recorded, but where they spliced it in was when she was going on the journey, and he was just like, big mistake, like you should never go on
Yeah.
the journey, you know. And so seemingly from then he'd already had pinned her as an outsider.
Right. I think that's what made me think that it was just immediate. Like they were on the same tribe, they barely talk to each other. And she takes that first journey, and he's like, ha ha ha. From that moment, it seemed like he was against her. That may be incorrect because we're just going off of the edit. But that's what made me think, like, oh, did he come in knowing who she was and, like, didn't want her around? Or did something else happen? But I feel something happened. Something made him feel personally driven against her. I feel like looking at their charts and
100%. I from the very beginning, I was like, oh no, like Asia's on the journey, and it already seems like someone's against her. It's just really unfortunate because
yeah.
it's very difficult to come back from that with just like the extra time that he's had with everybody else. It's just,
I would like to see his whole chart because, like, when he got the journey, this last journey
I
that
need
he
to see the
took,
luck in this chart.
exactly, he's got like Sun conjunct his ascendant, conjunct his Venus. Like, something is going on because he has gotten all of this hardware. You know, it's just really interesting to see. I would love to see his chart.
Me too. I'm trying to think what like does he have okay, do you think that this is just like the luck is going to continue, or do you think it's the whole pride before the fall, or
I
like
think his luck is going to continue until everyone is tired of him, right? Like that's the thing is like this game isn't going to be just your luck. If it was just his luck, he might be super successful. But this game requires other people to enjoy you, want to work with you. Like at this point, I'd say, how is he going to get votes at the end, right? I don't think he'll make it to the end because let's say he makes it to merge and the other tribes get to know him, they now have the numbers to take him out. Like right now, no one has the numbers to take him out. But once you have more
well, they
people,
did, but they chose not to.
well, because
No,
he had
no,
all
not
that
take him out. Sorry, not take him out.
hardware.
No, because he had the one day
Yeah, you
idol.
can't.
But definitely weakening him by taking out Genevieve. Then you'd have the second vote. Who cares? It would be 3-2 if that in that case. And he could take him out next round. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is his downfall, and that's unfortunate because he does seem like he's got a lot of luck on his side. But there will come a point in this game where people are like, I just can't with you anymore, you know?
Unless they just decide to bring him along because they know that he'd be a no vote finalist.
I mean, we had Q for way longer last season than you would ever imagine because of that. Of like, well, no one takes him serious anymore. Like, he's not going to get a vote. But eventually.
So what do we think is going to be happening? Do you think that, which tribe do you think, should we pull a card? Like, which tribe do we think is going to go to tribal next? Who do we think is going to go out next?
Oh, let's see. Let me get my card. How would we do this? Let's see. Yeah, like, I mean, it's dangerous to make these statements this early in the game.
Like our predictions.
But it does feel that way. I mean, Emily made a turn. Emily was able to make a turn, so you know you can adjust.
But I don't know if it works with having a lot of the audience. Like, I'm just at this point, I'm not rooting for Rome because I just didn't like how he treated Aysha in the end. Like with the eating the fish and kind of spitting it on her. I just like,
oh yeah, I think he made a few enemies online.
Well, did you see what he said on Twitter on the
next morning?
Yeah,
yeah. What did he say? Something like "Good morning" to all the rap followers, or something.
With him like carrying his torch out. I'm like, I mean, if you're just like leaning into being the villain, okay, cool.
He has no choice. He has to lean into it at this point, right? I don't know if he knew that this was coming. I don't know that he knew this was his edit. Sometimes people are delusional and have no idea.
This is partially why I thought it was a Pisces. Oh, because he just believes he's so amazing.
Is he a rising Pisces? With a Leo moon, I'd buy it. I could see it.
Oh my gosh, imagine. That would make me feel justified in me really thinking he was a Pisces.
Okay, yeah, but it could just be the Scorpio.
Are we doing it for our tribe?
Yeah, wait,
first?
How are we doing this? Okay, hold on. Let's see.
Let's just do one maybe for each tribe.
Yeah.
And
all right, well then let's focus on Gotta Yellow here.
Yellow.
That is Andy, Sam, Annika, Rachel, and Sierra are left right now.
Like they got their groove and they're gonna do okay for a bit.
Sam,
well, it's not a fan
is fighting with Annika. Everyone thinks he's dating Sierra. That's hilarious. Ooh, okay. 9 of Cups jumped out of my deck.
And you said dating Sierra as the Lovers card.
Oh no! What happened? Did they get together?
No. Well, they both have significant others.
I know. Now I'm worried about their personal relationships.
No, I don't think they'll cross any boundaries.
Yeah. The Lovers and the lucky. 9 of Cups is just getting along. Is like.
I mean, I know that Sam is annoyed with Annika, but I do feel like with the edit, you see them comparing Andy to George Costanza. And so they might be starting to look at him as like a lovable goof, you know?
Yeah.
And like, oh, he's our lovable. Like seeing now that I'm going to cry, that he just wants to feel accepted and feel part of the group. And now he's kind of feeling his place. Like maybe they're just going to start getting along at this point. And so...
yeah, if we're looking at just this episode coming up, this doesn't feel like
they're going
losing going to tribal. This feels like clicking, getting a reward. This could be some sort of reward for them.
Lovers is major arcana, so usually it's a positive sign.
Usually.
That's when you're reading it for John.
Okay, that's
so I don't think yellow is going to tribal.
No. Okay, red has Keyshawn, Rome, Saul, Genevieve, and Teeny still left. Obviously, Rome thinks he's running stuff. He did use his idol, though. That's gone.
Now, I am praying right now that Saul goes out brazenly and finds another idol and just takes it for like the one tribal, ensures his safety, and they immediately have to turn on each other. That would just make me tickled. Okay, red.
he does not take criticism. I wonder what will happen when he does get criticism. Remember he came into our chat after we didn't draft him?
That was so awkward.
It was
I feel
so
bad. But now that I see how it played out, though, like, I'm happy about it. I'm sorry if that's mean, but I didn't like how he treated my girl. So
no, right. Okay, red.
Okay, I pulled the High Priestess.
Ooh. Well, I got the Hermit. Let's see. I mean, the High Priestess is somebody figuring something out.
So maybe Saul gets a sign from the universe as to where to find this idol.
Right? Could be. The Hermit, though, is a bit of a laying low, introverted energy.
Sometimes it looks like being a beacon of light sometimes. Like because the hermit is usually holding a lantern, and so it's offering wisdom at times. But
well, if we go with that goes very well with the High Priestess of some sort of
getting some wisdom,
some sort of information.
So maybe they don't go to tribal.
Well, this is a let's see what the third one is, because it's not a not going to tribal. Because you could go to tribal and then get the wisdom, but not clear. Let's see.
Not clear.
Okay, so that's red. So that takes us to blue. We have Gabe, who's seemingly like narrating everything right now. Kyle.
Gabe is probably going to have a fall, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, how did you feel about Kyle not putting his hand back into the damn bag? I was so mad at him for that. I know he's not a strategic king. Fine. He's a little bit more heart and loyalty, nice guy. But
I don't know. I mean, I was surprised.
He was going to, if he's going to go home, it doesn't matter the next tribal, right? Like, take the 50-50 chance now. Like, you have a better chance now to pick the good thing. And you don't have to tell, you could say, like, I lost my vote for one tribal and really have lost it for two. Like,
yeah.
I just thought that it was a missed opportunity to maybe get something better than lose your vote, because you're going to be losing it for one anyways. But.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't really think about it as that bad, because I just think he's in a tough spot.
He should
have. So I was like, all right.
They all kind of should have, but him more.
Yeah. Caroline, Sue, and Tiana are also still here on blue. Sue and Caroline really close. But yeah, things are a little up in the air on blue. Let's see what happens with blue. Eight of Pentacles, figuring, learning, apprenticeship. Yeah. How many?
Seven of Cups, making
7.
decisions.
Blue. Okay, this.
Blue, it might be you.
Blue, it might be you going to tribal this week with the decisions and apprenticeship, learning something.
Who's gonna go? So what could possibly happen? I mean, I really wish that Kyle hadn't told Sue and Carolyn about Gabe. I think that was definitely a bad decision on his part. He doesn't have the social capital with them. Like, he doesn't have the relationship with them. He should have gone to Tiana, talked to Tiana about it, because it was her that Gabe was coming for. And allow Tiana to go and gather the numbers, or let them know this information. It should have been worked differently. So I think it would be either either Kyle or Tiana going next, right?
Maybe, but Sue's also like digging her heels, making personal choices and being stubborn. So I'm worried about her as well.
Fair.
Just depending on who can get what numbers going.
But it does seem like a decision's going to be made, or like
a decision. You got to learn something, and you got to make a decision. Feels more like going to tribal out of these.
Like, maybe the target changes a gazillion times with the Seven of Cups. Being like,
Yeah.
oh, no, it's this person. No, it's this person. No, it's this person. So
Yeah, learning how to play the game. Yep.
That looks like
Okay.
a blue going to tribal to
Blue.
me.
Yes, I'll say blue is most likely Red would be the next possible.
Yellow is safe.
Yellow seemed pretty safe.
Do I have everything hanging on Annika right now? Annika and
yeah.
Who's the other person? Somebody else that's like not long for this world. It was Annika and Genevieve. Oh, Genevieve actually could go far.
I mean, she's barely been in the edit. Who knows? She may be the winner for all we know.
She could definitely go far because I find it interesting that we haven't heard of her relationship, like her having conversations with Rome. Like, how are they so close? Like, I get it now that they're both air signs, so like it makes more sense. Before I thought it was water and air, and I was like, ooh. But air and air, definitely works well. But we haven't seen them have conversations, which I wish that we did.
Yeah, you've got Genevieve and Annika left. Yikes.
Everything hangs on you, Genevieve, because Annika, unless she makes it to merge.
Unless she, journeys over and ends up somewhere else. Who knows?
Yeah. Do you think they might do something like that? Like, could there be a tribe switch up?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they could, but it's less likely now that we've got, like,
this
3 even teams. Yeah.
5-5-5, yeah. And you know what? Also, just like me commiserating over the Aysha boot, is that she would have been fine if they were larger tribes. You know, like she would have been able to have a little bit of room to figure things out. It's these small tribes are just hard to shift the target off of you.
I mean, they are, but there's nothing we can do about it. Like, this is.
Well, let me have
this
for a
Survivor.
Second, okay?
Okay, you may. No, it's so sad. It's so sad to lose Aysha this soon, and it's annoying that it was basically one person's decision. I am annoyed by that, for sure.
Ew.
Yeah,
but
and we all want 2 tribes. We agree.
Why are they so against it? I wonder.
They're the only ones fighting us on this. Like, why? I don't know.
I guess they like the chaoticness of tribal, I guess. I don't know. I don't feel like it offers more entertainment personally, but
there is another journey.
with all the blood that's seen.
That's not blood. That was paint.
It was paint, but like she was saying blood, so maybe it's similar to that beginning of that challenge where which season was it? I think it was 2 or 3 seasons ago, where they had to cover themselves in like the blood, the paint. The very, very first challenge, remember? And they had like a 3-part idol, I think. I can't remember how it went. I'm misremembering probably, but I just remember the first challenge, 3 people had to go off and they had to cover themselves in blood paint. And they had to explain what happened. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And every person had a part of an idol. And then as the people left, the idol, it got stronger. It wasn't, it was like a seal of vote, and then it was a da-da-da, and then it was a full idol or something like that. Was that on Jesse's season? Was it that
Andrea
season?
says it was 42. The way I forget a season immediately.
Like when you said no, I was like, am I just making this up? I'm like, no, I remember that.
It will just disappear. I will be like, don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, Drea, yeah. Hi, Lindsay. Yeah.
Great, love it. It does sound vaguely familiar now.
Well, now that really, like, I have the 3 people, I remember even more now.
All right, well, this is fun. I hope we get to see how our cards play out with these 3 tribe card pulls we just pulled. But we definitely want to check in on our cards throughout the season. So thank you to everyone joining us live and talking it through with us. If you're joining later, please let us know your thoughts, who you're rooting for, all that stuff. And shout out to Chantele because she is doing Exit Press for Traders Canada. I'm loving this for you.
Yay!
If anyone is watching, definitely tune in. But even if you're not watching, just tune in for Chantele.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been super fun. Just talking to the different contestants, getting a little bit of understanding of their thought process and like why they did the things they do and any regrets that they've had. It's kind of nice to have an opportunity just to get some real information. So it's
Yeah,
been a
right?
blast so far.
That's so good. So exciting. All right. Well, we will see you around later in the Survivor Streets, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.